the ball was something I didn't think we had to worry about. But my goodness, missed tackles, blown assignments. Hayden gets burned for a touchdown. Where's the shutdown corner that signed that big contract? I can remember at least once a game in the last 3 games, a big play was needed to be stopped by Joe Hayden, and Joe Hayden screwed the pooch, and Jacksonville beat us yesterday, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, come on, man. Cover your man. Stick to him like glue. Play the football. All he had to do was turn around, J-Rock Daddy. I guarantee you he would have deflected that pass, and we wouldn't have been in such a large deficit going into the half.
No, I hear you. That's something that we definitely are going to talk about here this week. And I said, for Justin Gilbert, there was matter of fact, you texted me and said, who was that got beat? I said, I know, it was lockdown, man. But that's something, you don't make that money. No, hey, man, you make that money. You got to step up and make those plays, and Antonio
live
Brown.
Up to the reputation, you know what I'm saying?
Antonio Brown
you can't get burned like that. And just think about last year, J-Rock, when we were horrified. All they had to do was stop the pass with Jacksonville beat us. Remember that? Who got burnt in? Locked down again, remember?
I understand. We've had these discussions. I like Joe Hayden. I'm just not in the Joe Hayden is lockdown category. I never go was. That, I
never was, and I wrote a multitude of articles. If you go back through the archives on ClevelandSports360.com, you're going to see there's no way I ever thought Joe Hayden was a shutdown corner in the NFL.
I like him. I think Joe Hayden can be a part of a great tandem or trio of cornerbacks that work together. To me, he's not Darrelle Revis. He's not a put him on an island by themselves and they're going to lock one guy up and take him out of the game. Yes, he can do that with certain number one receivers, but not all of the number one receivers, as we've seen. But, and that's something there, and we'll talk about that too. But
unfortunately, there's guys in the AFC North that are a problem for the Cleveland Browns, and one of those guys is A.J. Green down in Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
Hayden always has a hard time dealing with him.
But
I got to tell you another thing. Cutting kept 12 defensive backs on this team for a reason. I hope before we take on the New Orleans Saints, who are going to come to Cleveland with a chip on their shoulder after the terrible loss they suffered at the hands of the Atlanta Falcons yesterday, that's going to be one peed-off football team, J-Rock Daddy.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have to stick to those receivers like glue because nobody takes your defense apart better than Drew Brees, man.
Yeah,
so get ready for next week. This Cleveland Browns is going to have to suck it up. I don't know what we're going to do to make sure we can cover these receivers, but there's no way we can rely on Justin Gilbert. He's just not NFL ready yet.
LG, my man, I'm gonna take it myself. Thank you for the phone call, my man. We'll talk some more this week as we look to New Orleans.
Okay, brother. Keep up the positive thoughts. Maybe this team's gonna come out smoking, and they won't forget that NFL football is 60 minutes long, not 30.
Absolutely. Whether first quarter, you got to do all 4 of them. That's the thing. We showed up better in the third and the fourth this week, but we got to show back up in the first and the second. LG, thank you so much for the call, and again, he's right because the Browns are going to have to focus defensively on an offense that's going to come at you from so many dynamic ways passing that the Browns are truly going to have to eat a lot of clock. I think you got to keep the score down. I know you don't win a shootout with the Saints, I believe, with this offense. I believe you can put points on the board, but I don't know that you're going to sit here and go 35-42 deep with the Saints. You're better off trying to take time, cut the game in half, cut the game down with the running game, which we've seen they have the ability to do. But yeah, man, Hayden, Gilbert, all those guys are going to have to come up big because Drew Brees, if there's weaknesses in your defense, he's going to find them all day long. And you're going to have to jack up your pressure too because you're going to have to be in his face all day long, making him make those quick decisions as well. Definitely stuff, but that's looking ahead to New Orleans and what's coming back here. And before I'm going to take the break, then we're going to get John McMullen on here. One last comment I saw in the chat room, and Charles, great point there. I heard some people, and that got hit up with this yesterday, that goof from the morning show that does whatever here on the FM dial and does some TV stuff after the game. Did it actually say that Mike Pettin blew the game by not putting Manziel in at halftime? Yeah, that was the difference maker. That was the difference. You've got to be kidding. What kind of an idiot? And these people get not only get paid, but get put front and center as if As if you have a brain in your head. I'll say it. I don't care. You know, come knock on my door and start a fight. I dare you to. Chuck Booms is the most garbage broadcaster in, I think, the history of Cleveland sports radio broadcasting. Who puts that maroon on the radio dial and on the television? I swear, makes Mary Kay Cabot look like the greatest beat writer in the history of sports, man. I'm telling you. Anyway, Chuck Booms, the reason the Browns lost is because Mike Pettin's so stupid he didn't put Johnny Manziel in at halftime. Yeah, there you go. And the flagship station puts you on the air. I tell you, what do I say all the time, guys? I should put it on a t-shirt. Bad sports hosts, bad sports talk creates bad sports fans. I truly, truly believe that. It breeds it. And no better example than Chuck Booms. Come on and check out my bad comedy show. I don't know. I think he mixes up his bad comedy and his bad radio sometimes. You never know what you're going to get with Chuck Booms. Luckily, I don't wake up at that hour of the day. And if I did, I'd go back to sleep. All right, guys, I'm going to take a break. When we come back, John McMullen from the Sports Network is with us. We're over schedule. I don't care. This is going to be an overtime show. It's football Monday. We're talking Indians sweep, Navy, or the Buckeyes. They beat Navy. They lost to Virginia Tech. We got the Browns and the Steelers and Ray Rice. So much to get into. Don't go anywhere. Here comes some news and John McMullen from the Sports Network coming up next here on the Sports Fix. I will never be that close to you. I know, I don't wake up.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound, a dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into
The Sports Fix. We'll be right back. It's an addiction. The Sports Fix. We'll be right back.
Business owners and professionals, do you want to take your business, your product, your team, your event to the next level? You want to advertise right here with the Sports Fix. Our listeners are among the most loyal listeners, terrestrial or internet. The Sports Fix universe is not only the radio show, but tens of thousands of fans on Facebook and Twitter. Email me, Jerry Myers, thesportsfix@AOL.com. That's thesportsfix@AOL.com. And let me help you swing for the fences and hit it out of the park right here on the Sports Fix. Whether it's an oil change, Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck has you covered. They're your neighborhood quick service experts. They also offer a low price tire guarantee. June Tires at Valley Ford will Monday through Thursday until 9, so you can check it off your to-do list and get on with your service lounge and additional service bay. Just Lane at Valley Ford Truck is located at 5715 Canal Road, just down the road from Independence. 5715 Canal Road, right under the 480 bridge in Valley View, just down the road from Independence. Come see why life is better in the Quick Lane. QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck. That's QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Signs and Ship, the official printing source of the Sports Fix. Locations in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Florida. Find out more at signsandship.com.
Good morning, I'm Bob Picozzi. We have a developing story from the NFL this morning. New video shows Ravens running back Ray Rice delivering a vicious punch to the face of his then-fiancée, Janae Palmer, in a February 15th when the NFL gave Rice only a 2-game suspension, evidence which the police had. The punched her head on the elevator handrail, knocking her out cold. On the field, Week 1 will conclude with a Monday night doubleheader. Eastern time on ESPN. New York coach touts weapons.
They have players to match each other. With Reggie Bush and with Calvin Johnson, they're extremely explosive. Now with Golden Tate, who can run the kickoffs and punch back if they so desire to put him back there. But they're skilled, and,
Johnson was third in the NFL in receiving yards last season. In the second game, San Diego visits Arizona, 10:20 Eastern. The 10-seed Kei Nishikori and the 14-seed Marin Cilic in the finals at the U.S. Open tonight in New York.
There's nothing worse than trudging to the store for overpriced razors, so don't do it. Join DollarShaveClub.com and get the world's best razors delivered right to your door for a few bucks a month. That's DollarShaveClub.com.
You're listening to the Sports Fix.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix live across the Sports Fix Radio Network. That's right. Can't touch this. J-Rock back with you here as we roll on. Actually, that was the... Actually, I got the Rick James. See, there you go, man. I'm all over the place here. Welcome back in. J-Rock back with you as we roll on, heading into hour 2 of the Sports Fix, and a lot still on tap. John McMullen from the Sports Network is on the lines. He's coming with you momentarily. Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fan. Coming up in hour 2, we'll talk about the Ohio State Buckeyes loss to Virginia Tech and where they go from here, and talk some Browns and Steelers and Indians with him. Tribe sweep, baby, as we talked about at the start of the show. But right now, we're going to keep the conversation going, focused on the NFL and the Browns and the Steelers in week 1. And, of course, as you heard during the break, and as I definitely talked about at the start of the show, Ray Rice as well. Can't wait to talk to John. You can't get in on the phones, but you keep it rolling with us on Facebook and Twitter and email. Facebook.com/TheSportsFix. Tweet with us at TheSportsFixCLE. Email us, TheSportsFix@AOL.com. I'm going to the phone lines. My man, John McMullen from the Sports Network, with us every Monday talking NFL, and a great one here as we've got a ton of Week 1 action to talk, and just when we thought we may have been done talking about just the off-the-field part and maybe switching to the on-the-field, no, more to talk about there, but let's do it with John McMullen from the Sports Network. John, how you doing this morning?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, Jerry.
Well, thanks for being here, my man. Come on, you got to be doing better than well. It's the first Monday of the football season. You got your football fix all weekend long. How you feeling? Week 1 almost in the books?
Almost. Once you get into the season, I'm and then, of course, with the Ray Rice stuff this morning, it's kind of a whirlwind, so it's not as exciting for just a fan paying attention to one team.
Hey, man, I'm feeling good in general. A lot of great NFL games to talk about, but I want to put the football aside, and I hate to do this because I was hoping to just fire up and start talking some football with us, but got to put that aside. As we talked about to open up the show, and as you just mentioned, the Ray Rice video that comes out, and we had a lot of people that played devil's advocate and tried to use the, well, you don't know what happened. None of us know what really happened. That's out the window there, man, to for lack of a better phrase, it doesn't exist, as now everybody knows what happened in that elevator. And I think the onus, I'll start it with you here, clearly on the NFL. I don't want to hear about double jeopardy or any of that stuff. The NFL cannot allow Ray Rice to return to the Baltimore Ravens 1 week from now after what is floating out there this morning.
Yeah, it's a tough position to be in, obviously, and I, for one, I'm taking the attack. I think people are kind of centering on the NFL, and I understand why. But there are other aspects to this story, and I think really we have to shine a light on the NFL Players Association because they're involved, and also the Baltimore Ravens. For some reason, people have kind of given them a pass, and if anything, I think they're more to blame in this type of situation than even the NFL as a whole. But it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here, because obviously there's a tipping point in the society we're in, and I don't see how he can come back and play for the Baltimore Ravens. If I were the Ravens, I would release him, to be perfectly honest. And if I were even the NFL Players Association and even Ray Rice's camp, I think they have to understand where they are in this particular process, and it's just not feasible to move forward with everything that came out this morning. And I would like to get into some larger issues as a whole. I don't think it's necessarily fair the way people pile on in instances like this, but that's a discussion for another time. I think the NFL and the Baltimore Ravens simply can't move forward with what is